Number 10. The 1,280-person horror story 1 theory says humanity once came so close to extinction that our ancestors could have fit inside a badly organized wedding hall. Around 900,000 years ago, a genetic model published in Science suggested our ancestral population may have crashed to about 280 breeding individuals. Not 1,280 million, not 280 tribes, about 1,280 breeding individuals. That is not a species, that is a WhatsApp group with bones. And the worst part is the timeline. The model suggests this bottleneck may have lasted for more than 100,000 years. Think about that. For longer than all of recorded civilization, our ancestors may have been stuck at the edge of deletion. One bad winter, one disease outbreak, one failed food season, one stupid river crossing, and the entire future disappears. No cities, no language as we know it, no music, no religion, no history, no you, no me. Nothing. The scary theory is not that humans became great. The scary theory is that humans began as a statistical mistake that refused to die. Source anchor, Hu et al., Science, 2023, number 9. The fever that ate the Neanderthals. Most people imagine Neanderthals disappearing in some dramatic Ice Age war. Modern humans arrive. Spears fly. Caves burn. Neanderthals lose. Very cinematic. Maybe too cinematic. One published theory is much uglier because it does not need a battle. It only needs infection. Some researchers have argued that when Homo sapiens moved into Neanderthal territory, they may have carried diseases that Neanderthals were not ready for. No evil plan, no ancient bioweapon, just contact. That is what makes it horrifying. The first meeting between humans and Neanderthals may not have looked like a fight. It may have looked like a cough, a fever, a child who does not wake up, a hunting group too weak to hunt, a small population losing just enough people every generation that it cannot recover. And because Neanderthal groups were already smaller and more isolated, disease would not need to kill everyone. It would only need to keep pushing, one winter after another, one family after another, until the last Neanderthal group was not defeated, just gone. Source anchor, Wolf and Greenwood, Medical Hypotheses, 2010, Cambridge Disease Transmission Research. Number 8. The Skull Cup dinner party at Goth's Cave in England. Archaeologists found human bones from around 14,700 years ago. The marks were not subtle. Cut marks. Defleshing, bones broken for marrow, human tooth marks, and skulls carefully shaped into cups. Yes, human skull cups. This is not creepypasta. This is archaeology. The terrifying theory is that this was not simple starvation cannibalism. It may have been ritual cannibalism. And that is much worse. Because if starving people eat the dead, that is survival horror. But if people eat the dead because it means something, that is culture horror. That means rules, beliefs, ceremony, memory, maybe grief, maybe power, maybe revenge, maybe something we will never understand because nobody left subtitles. These were not cartoon savages. They were skilled Ice Age humans with tools, relationships, and social worlds. And somewhere inside that social world, a human skull could become an object you shaped, cleaned, and kept. That is the part that feels wrong. Not because they were less human, because they were human enough to make death symbolic. Source anchor, Bellow et al., PLOS ONE, 2011 and 2017. Number 7. The war before war there is a comforting idea that war came later. After farming, after land, after property, after people had fields, grain, fences, and enough boredom to invent politics. Then Naturuk ruined the comfort. At Naturuk in Kenya, researchers found remains of hunter-gatherers from around 10,000 years ago. Many showed signs of violent death, skulls smashed, projectile wounds, bodies left where they fell. Some evidence suggested people may have been restrained. This was not two guys arguing over a fish. This looked like group violence. The scary theory is simple. War may be older than farming, older than kings, older than borders, older than flags. Before humans had cities, they may already have had massacres. Now, the exact interpretation is debated, because archaeology enjoys making everything complicated. But the discovery still punches a hole in the fantasy that hunter-gatherer life was always peaceful. Maybe farming did not invent violence. Maybe farming only gave violent storage space. Source anchor, Mirazan La et al., Nature, 2016, number 6. The elephant murder math, one of the darkest theories in prehistory, says humans may have helped kill the giants. Mammoths, mastodons, giant ground sloths, huge birds, giant kangaroos. The old world was full of animals that looked like nature was trying to win an argument. Then many of them vanished. Climate change absolutely mattered. Habitats shifted, ice melted, ecosystems changed. But in many places, humans arrive, and soon after, the giants start leaving the story. That is where the overkill theory comes in. The theory is not that humans personally stabbed every mammoth like a cartoon army. The theory is colder than that. Big animals reproduce slowly. Humans learn quickly. A few extra kills, a few lost babies, a few disrupted migrations, a few fires, a few hunting tricks passed down to children. And suddenly, an animal that survived ice ages cannot survive a clever ape with memory. That is the horror. Humans may have become an extinction force before we even had writing. No metal, no machines, no cities. Just stone tools, fire, teamwork, and appetite. The giants did not lose to technology. They may have lost to planning. Source anchor, overkill hypothesis / late quaternary megafauna extinction literature. Number 5. The volcano that arrived at the worst time around 40,000 years ago. A massive eruption exploded from the Campanian region of Italy. The Campanian ignimbrite eruption. That name sounds like a boring geology exam. The event was not boring. Ash spread across huge areas, sulfur entered the atmosphere, climate effects followed, and the timing is deeply uncomfortable because this happened around the same broad period when Neanderthals were disappearing from Europe. Now, to be clear, the serious version is not. One volcano killed all Neanderthals. That is too simple. The serious theory is worse. Maybe the volcano arrived when Neanderthals were already weak. Their numbers were low. Their climate was unstable. Their food was changing. Modern humans were expanding. Then the sky turns wrong. Ash falls. Cold bites harder. Animals move. Plants suffer. Old hunting routes fail. The volcano may not have been the murderer. It may have been the final shove. An extinction often works like that. Not one dramatic villain. Just 10 problems stacked on top of a population until one of them finally breaks its ribs. Source anchor, Black et al., Geology 2015, number 4. The comet theory, nobody can bury this one, is dangerous. So say it properly. The Younger Dryas impact hypothesis is real. It has been published. It is also heavily disputed. The theory says that around 12,900 years ago, Earth may have been hit by comet fragments or airbursts that helped trigger sudden cooling, fires, ecological chaos, and stress on animals and humans. That is the terrifying version. The sky explodes. The climate reverses. The world gets colder. Animals disappear. Human cultures change. But many scientists reject the impact explanation and argue the evidence does not prove a comet caused the Younger Dryas. So do not present this as settled fact. Present it as what it is, a scientific knife fight that refuses to end. And the reason people cannot stop talking about it is simple. It gives prehistory a jump scare. Because deep down, humans hate one idea more than almost anything. The sky can ruin the plan. No warning, no negotiation, no king to blame, no army to fight. Just something above the clouds deciding that the next 1,000 years are going to be worse. Even if this exact theory is wrong, the fear underneath it is real. Earth has been hit before, and the sky has never promised it is finished. Source anchor Firestone et al., NARS 2007, later refutation and review literature. Number 3. The small brain funeral problem Homo naledi should not be this creepy. It had a small brain, a strange body, a mix of primitive and human-like features, and then its bones showed up deep inside South Africa's Rising Star cave system. Not near the entrance. Not in some easy chamber. Deep inside. Dark, difficult, annoying to reach even for modern researchers with helmets and lights. Some researchers argue Homo naledi deliberately placed dead bodies in the cave. Other scientists have pushed back, saying the evidence needs caution. That debate matters. But the possibility itself is terrifying. Because if Homo naledi really carried its dead into the dark, then burial behaviour may not belong only to big-brained humans and Neanderthals. Maybe something with a brain far smaller than ours still understood death in a complicated way. Disposal, ritual, fear, care, memory, nobody knows. And that is exactly why it feels like horror. A small-brained human relative moving bodies through darkness is not supposed to fit the simple story. But the cave does not care about the simple story. The cave has bones. Source anchor, Berger et al., eLife 2025, peer review debate. Number 2. The female-only death cave, this one, is fresh and extremely weird. Protein analysis of Homo naledi teeth from Rising Star Cave found no male markers in the tested individuals. Not one. Researchers looked at dental enamel proteins from at least 20 individuals and found no convincing amylogenin Y signal, the marker normally tied to biological males. That does not prove every Homo naledi was female. It does not prove the entire species lacked males. But it raises a deeply strange possibility. Maybe the cave sample was female only. And if the burial theory is even partly right, that becomes much darker. Because now the question is not just, why are bodies in the cave? It becomes, why these bodies? Were females treated differently? Was this a special death place? Was it a biological accident? Was it a genetic marker problem? Or was there some social rule inside Homo naledi that we are not ready to understand? This is the kind of discovery that does not give you an answer. It gives you a locked door, and then it whispers from the other side. Source anchor, Madupe et al., Cell, 2026, Wits University release. Number 1. The theory that humans were the monster this is the theory nobody likes because it turns the camera around. Prehistory is usually sold like this. Poor humans struggling against monsters, cave lions, mammoths, cold, darkness, hunger. But a lot of evidence points toward a nastier version. Where modern humans spread, other things often suffered. Neanderthals disappeared. Denisovans disappeared as separate populations. Large animals vanished. Island ecosystems collapsed. Landscapes changed. Now humans were not the only cause of every extinction. Climate mattered. Disease mattered. Volcanoes mattered. Bad luck mattered. But the terrifying theory is that Homo sapiens may have been one of the most dangerous things the prehistoric world ever met. Not because we were evil, because we were too good at surviving. We cooperated. We remembered. We taught children. We tracked animals. We used fire. We made tools. We crossed water. We ate almost anything. We adapted faster than ecosystems could respond. A cave lion is dangerous. But a cave lion cannot teach its grandchildren your migration route. A human can. A mammoth is powerful. But a mammoth cannot invent a better spear every generation. A human can. That is the final horror. The prehistoric world was full of monsters, and somehow the one that survived long enough to tell the story was us. Ending so no, these are not fake theories, they are not secret alien nonsense. They are real published ideas, discoveries, debates and interpretations. That is what makes them worse. Human ancestors may have nearly vanished. Disease may have helped erase our cousins. People made cups from skulls. Hunter-gatherers may have massacred each other before farming. Humans may have helped destroy the giants. A volcano may have pushed Neanderthals closer to the edge. A disputed comet theory still haunts archaeology. Homo naledi may have carried bodies into darkness. And now that same cave may contain a female-only mystery nobody expected. The scary part of prehistory is not that we know too little. It is that sometimes we know just enough. Be honest which one sounds most impossible even though it comes from real research. The 1,280-person bottleneck, the skull cup ritual, the female-only Homo naledi cave, or the theory that humans were the monster.